was sitting down to dinner with some friends at a very kind of nice, more upscale type restaurant. We had not gotten, black tie, but we were kind of gussied up for the evening. A nice person had come by and just poured some water, and my friend's looking across the table, married, recently had their first child. They're looking at me and they're like, how on earth do you even have time for this? You're working full time, you own a martial arts school, you're spending time helping your parents do this and that, you're going to school. Like, how on earth do you even have time to be here with us? And I looked back across the table at them and I said, I always make time for what I prioritize. And funny enough, now, so that happened several years ago, and now this is one of the things that actually come up really frequently for the leaders that I work with. And regardless of what their formal job title or informal job title is, this is a really common struggle that leaders have, that they swear there's not enough time for them to prep their meals, to go to the gym, to spend time with friends, to do all of the things that they want to be able to do in a day, in a week, in a month. And it's always only ever in a matter of like 1 hour session with me that we squash that belief. And it happens so quickly and so immediately that almost always at the end of the session, my client is almost laughing. They're like, wow, why couldn't I have seen how easy this is actually? Like, why didn't I think of it like that? It really is just a very easy paradigm shift with you that I'm going to share with you. You do actually always have time for everything you want to do and then some. Here are the two reasons why you think that you don't. The first one is actually probably not what you think. The first one is actually because a lot of times what I hear is, well, I don't have a whole hour. I can't go to the gym. I don't have a whole hour. I can't meal prep every week consistently. I don't always have the 2 or 3 hours it takes to devote to that. And I'm sure already in your mind, you're thinking about the other things that have stopped you from doing what you want to do because you felt like you didn't have enough time to do that, right? Even when it comes to maybe connecting with friends or family. Well, I don't have 2 or 3 hours to go out to dinner with you right now, right? And here's your first paradigm shift for you right here. You don't have to have a whole hour for that. You don't actually have to have all of that time in order to accomplish that thing, right? You can always choose to move your body. Let's talk about a workout, for example, right? You can go to the gym for 20 minutes. You can say, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to focus on my arms today. I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 of these 3 exercises. You're in and out of there in 15, 20 minutes tops, right? You have plenty of time for a shower, to get ready, and to go on to the next thing that you want to do in your life. You don't have to go to the gym for a whole hour every single time. You don't have to do your full workout every single time. And it reminds me so much of the common phrase, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? You're going to miss 100% of the opportunities to do something you really want to do, something that actually really matters to you, if you don't just break it down into a bite-sized step. You're going to miss every opportunity if you don't just take the opportunity wherever that is, right? And so the first paradigm shift is just to break it down into something smaller. Okay, well, I don't really have time to go out to dinner with you this evening. I don't have this full 3 hours, but I can call you on the phone and we can connect for half an hour. I can chat with you and catch up with you and see how you're doing and we can connect, right? I don't necessarily have all of the time to go on my hike on Sundays, to do my reset, to meal prep, to do all of those things, right? But maybe I have time to go for a 45-minute hike. I can, get on my phone and order groceries for pickup, drive to the grocery store, pick them up, take them home. Maybe I can just cut the vegetables and have the vegetables prepped for the week. And then as the day comes throughout the week, worry about the protein, right? Because it's only certain parts of that meal prepping that take forever in a day to do if you're trying to do it every single time you want to cook a meal, right? But if you take an hour to just do the veggies, then each time it takes you still half the time to cook the meal, and that is digestible enough during the week for you, just for an example, right? So that's your first paradigm shift here. The second thing that I see gets leaders, again, no matter what your job title actually is, the second thing is always this right here. It's that they are leaders, whether you are a parent, whether you are a stay-at-home partner, whether you are a farmer, whether you are in an office, whether you own your own business, like I don't care what it is. Somehow in your life, you are a leader over something, even if it's only your own life. That's still your health, your finances, your well-being, your livelihood, right? Like you still have a lot to lead over, even if it's only those things. And so as we're going about our day, our week, our month, we get exhausted, especially if, like me, you're an empath. Like me and like pretty much every single one of the clients I have, we're all empaths, we're all intuitive. And that means that not only are we leading our lives, potentially leading our teams, projects, children, whatever it is, right? We're also swimming around and coming into contact with and absorbing all kinds of energies that are not our own. And it can be so challenging to practice the discernment of what's actually mine and what actually isn't mine when I'm feeling it and absorbing it like unconsciously, right? That just adds an extra layer of that energetic exhaustion that we have at the end of the day, the week, the month, right? And so what happens? What happens as a result of the exhaustion? You go home at the end of the day and you unplug. Not to be mean by putting that in quotations, but more often than not, when people say that they're unplugging, what are they really doing? They're really scrolling on socials. They're really just turning on the TV, right? They're doing these things that they call unplugging, but then when does the unplugging stop? And not to say that I certainly don't have evenings or whole days sometimes, even in my life, where I go, you know what, I'm just going to binge watch the Great British Baking Show today. Like sometimes that separation from everything else going on in your own life is necessary or helpful to have that space from like, I'm not thinking about anything, I'm not trying to do anything right now, right? But when you're done unplugging, maybe you've eaten dinner, you go to bed, you wake up in the morning, do you feel recharged? Because pretty much every one of the clients that I work with, when they get into this pattern, which is before they come and see me, when they're in this pattern, they never feel recharged. That unplugging doesn't actually refill their battery so that they can go on to the next thing in their life or wake up the next morning actually feeling like they're ready and willing and excited to give 100% of themselves to whatever they're doing that day. This is so common, and the paradigm shift here is to interrupt that pattern. And here's the thing that I always tell my clients about this: set a timer. Set a timer, okay? It's not that you don't get to allow yourself to unplug, to scroll, to watch TV, to just completely distance yourself from all of the productivity, the energy overwhelm, right? The decision fatigue. It's not that you don't get to distance yourself from that. Of course you do. Of course you do. It's that unplugging is not a refilling of your cup. It's that unplugging doesn't plug you back into you. It doesn't plug you back into happiness. It doesn't plug you back into joy and fulfillment, right? So it's not refilling your battery, meaning you're, again, going on to the next thing or the next day in your life, still feeling completely drained. And that is a one-way ticket straight to burnout. that I see happen so often. And sometimes it happens very quickly, sometimes it takes years to happen. Not everybody is the same. The important thing is that we learn to find a balance, that we come to understand how we're going to balance the time that we are creating that distance from our decisions, from outside energies, from responsibility, right? And also reconnecting back into things that really add happiness and joy and fulfillment back into our lives, the things that actually refill our cup and our battery, right? So I always tell my clients this when, especially for high level leaders that are running businesses, that are managing teams, that are traveling a lot, have your time, go home at the end of the day, put on something comfortable, relax on your couch, then set the timer. You get 20 minutes. 20 minutes to unplug in whatever way you find that is helpful for you to unplug. When the timer goes off, you're on to the next thing, right? So again, even when it comes back to this idea of, well, I don't have time to cook for myself during the week, I'm calling bullshit on that. I just am, okay? You have the time, you're just distracted. Okay, when you set that timer and you let that timer go off and then you go on to the next thing, and even if cooking isn't something that you necessarily find is a place for a ton of creativity or joy for you, I mean, there are meal kits, there are all kinds of other ways that you can find to be like, okay, but I do need to cook something that is healthy and nourishing for my body, right? Your body houses your energy, it houses your brain, it houses your immune system, it houses your spirit, it houses your heart, right? It houses everything for you. So that is like rule number one, that you make sure that healthy, nourishing meals are coming to you and that you're making the time for them, right? So maybe the next thing after that is you cook your meal, you eat it. Again, it doesn't have to take forever. It can be like Rachel Ray's 30-minute meals. I don't care. Just do it. Okay. then go on to the next thing. Another thing that I hear people say all the time is cleaning is a challenge for them. Well, if you set that timer, right, you unplug for 20 minutes, you cook and eat for 45 minutes total, right? Maybe sit and digest and sit in a sunspot for 15, 20 minutes while you're digesting and just let yourself soak up the sun and listen to the birds. I mean, listen, guys, 7 minutes of uninterrupted listening to birdsong resets your nervous system. That's all it takes is 7 minutes and you're back to square one. How awesome, right? Go sit in the sun, listen to the birdsong for 15 minutes, then get up and be like, okay, now I'm just going to go wipe the counters. Now I'm just going to go dust. Do one thing, just one thing. You don't have to devote all day to cleaning everything. Just go do one thing, right? Maybe go spend 15 minutes doing some stretches, some Tai Chi, some Qigong, some yoga, something that is going to help release the tension out of your body from the day, right? And then say, okay, now before bed, I'm going to take this time to crack open a book or listen to a podcast, right? Whatever it is that does help you to feel like your cup is back full. However it is that you're moving your body, however it is that you're nourishing your body, however it is that you're pouring back into your brain, into your heart, into your soul, make time for those, and it is all possible for you when you put them into bite-sized pieces and you just practice them on a more regular basis. Okay, so those are the two things. Go try them out right now and then comment below and let me know how much more awesome your life gets, because I know it's going to.